I'm Jess, and today we will be going over everything you need to know in order to have a wonderful and successful trip in your RV. Feel free to grab a pen and jot down any questions you may have along the way, and we'll be happy to go over them together on the day of your rental. First things first, in order for anything to work inside your RV, you need to have the aux battery switch turned on. This is your master switch. You'll know it's on by the little red indicator light below the switch. You have gauges here that will indicate where you are with your holding tanks, your propane or LPG, and your battery life. Pressing the indicator buttons below will light the sensors above to reflect the amount of life or space left. For instance, the RV has 3 holding tanks, one for freshwater, one for gray, and one for black. Press and hold the freshwater indicator button, and we see that we are at about 3/4 tank. The fresh tank is where you hold the water you will use for your faucet, shower, and toilet when you are dry docking. It is good to note that the tank is 50 gallons, so when it's full, it will add over 400 pounds to your carrying weight, which is something to consider before you travel, as it can add to your gas cost significantly. The gray tank is for holding the water that drains from the faucets and shower, and the black tank is only for holding what drains from the toilet. The propane, or LPG, is used to run the cooking range, the water heater, and furnace. The last 2 indicator buttons on the switchboard are for the batteries. The battery labeled aux is for the house battery, and the battery labeled main is for the engine. Over here, you have your water heater switch and your water pump switch. To turn on your water heater, simply flip the switch. The red indicator light will only come on briefly, so it's important to note which side turns the water heater on and which side turns it off, as there actually isn't a label on the switch. The unit is located right outside the main door next to the switch, so if it's quiet enough, you will actually hear it ignite. When you no longer need the hot water, remember to turn the switch off. Otherwise, you're burning propane to heat water that you're not using. The water pump is used to pump water from your freshwater holding tank to your faucets and to the toilet. It is only necessary when you are dry docking. Once you're plugged into shore water at your campsite, there is no longer any need for it. There are 2 separate switches for the same pump. The first is located here at the switchboard, and the second is next to the bathroom sink. If the pump is running, the red indicator light will be on. It's extremely important to remember to turn off the pump when you are not using it to run the water. Think of it like leaving an empty pot on a hot stove all day. If there's no water running through the pump, it will eventually fry the unit, and we definitely don't want that. To turn on the generator, first you must press and hold the off side of the switch for about 5 to 10 seconds. Doing this allows the fluid to start pumping and basically primes it up. You'll see the red light come on, indicating that it's priming. After a few seconds, press and hold the on side of the switch. Keep holding until you hear the generator start and are confident it is fully running. You may then release the hold. If it does not start after several seconds, that's okay. Just release the start switch, wait a few moments, and try again. Your air conditioning unit is located at the center ceiling and is completely separate from the heater unit. To turn it on, first make sure that you are plugged into shore power or have already started the generator and let it warm up. Then, Simply flip the knob to the desired setting. It's good to note that this unit is small and limited in its capacity to run as efficiently as the one you may have in your home. The rule of thumb to remember is that these units are more equipped to maintain temperature rather than cool it down. So for optimum usage, it is recommended that if you anticipate a hot day, to turn it on before it gets too hot outside. The thermostat is located on the wall next to the bathroom sink. To turn it on, flip the switch towards the left. Sometimes this can take a little elbow grease or finger grease, as the case may be. The temperature control is underneath the box. You may set it to your desired temp, and it will automatically run to maintain that temperature. Remember to turn the switch back off when you no longer need to have it running. Your refrigerator has two options for its power source: propane and electricity. When it is set to auto mode, it will know to automatically use the most efficient option. Make sure that your aux battery switch, remember your master switch on the switchboard, is on. Then make sure the fridge power is on. Next, check to see if it is set to auto. Looks good. The stovetop and oven are very similar to the gas stove you may have at home. There is a sparker switch used for lighting them. However, we suggest using the long lighter provided, as these switches are sometimes tricky and easy to break. You will also need that lighter to light the oven. To do this, open the oven door, turn the knob to ignite, press and hold the knob in as you reach in and light the oven stem. Once you see that it is lit, you can then use the knob to adjust the heat to your desired temp. Unlike the one in your home, this bad boy does not have a flushing system. That means that when you flush the toilet, there is no suction pulling the waste into the plumbing. It's just a flap that opens up at the bottom of the bowl and uses good old-fashioned gravity to drop its contents into the black holding tank. To prepare for number 2, you'll need to fill some water into the bowl beforehand. To do this, you first need to turn on the water pump. Then, using just a little pressure, slightly depress the foot pedal. It takes a little finesse, but you should pick it up relatively quick. Pressing the foot pedal too much will only open the cap and the water will just continue to drain from the bowl. Last but definitely not least, you must only use single-ply septic-safe toilet paper. Anything else will clog the sensors in the tank and cause difficult to remove and expensive to repair damages. Scott is a common brand usually found at most grocery stores, and we will provide you with a roll to get you started. The shower in your RV is stand-up style, equipped with a lovely skylight, which is concave for those taller travelers out there. It's a good idea to plan a bit ahead if you intend on showering a lot while dry docking, as you will be relying solely on your fresh water tank supply as well as whatever capacity is left in your gray tank. Military showers are ideal, but it is a consideration relative to how much you're planning to use it. A great feature to take advantage of in the interest of conserving water is this little switch right on the shower nozzle. It's basically like a pause button, temporarily corking your water flow until you need it again, without having to use the faucet knobs to adjust and readjust the temperature. There are vents and vent fans throughout the RV, and it is always a good idea to utilize them whenever steam or condensation will be present. There are several different types, but all are pretty self-explanatory. They do run off the batteries though, so remember not to leave them running all day if you are dry docking.